This video is to give you an introduction to the Bike Rack project, which is one of 5 projects that are part of this course. I designed and built this back in 2008 for Canadian Home Workshop magazine, so it's a published project. As far as I know, the design is unique. It's quite simple, but it's very strong, and it can accommodate as many bikes as you like, depending on how long you make it. So the top and bottom bars, horizontal bars, are 1.25" steel pipe, and the vertical bars are 3/4" steel pipe. So widely available stuff. And essentially the trick of the project is how the pieces of pipe are held at the appropriate distance in a kind of temporary wooden form. So that's what you're going to see when I show you a tour of the plans coming right up. You can print these plans from the course interface, and I recommend you do that so you have something in your shop that you can work to. But notice first here these temporary wooden jigs. It doesn't really matter what you make them out of, just scrap plywood or wafer board or anything like that. But the purpose of these jigs is to hold the horizontal pipes the right distance apart here and the right distance apart in this direction. And the vertical bars are then meant to fit between the horizontal ones. So if you look down here, you'll see I have specified lengths for these different parts, but you can take those numbers with a grain of salt because, for instance, you can make the rack longer than 86 inches if you want to accommodate more bicycles. And this distance here, 28.25 inches, I mean, that's theoretically correct, but you really don't want to just go by that number. What you really want is for your vertical pipes to fit nicely between the bottom horizontal pipe and the top horizontal pipe. That's the main thing. Now, over here, what's going on is there's some magnetic clamps, which I have covered earlier in the course. They they hold on to this piece of pipe here, and in this case, this upright pipe here. And it holds that upright pipe temporarily in position where you want it to be. Now this thing in the middle here, this is a 2-foot level, and it just so happens that the width of normal 2-foot levels is perfect for the amount of space you need to leave for the bicycle tire. So the level functions as a spacer. In this case it's 2.5 inches apart, so that's a good distance for the two verticals. But because it's a level, you can see whether the whole contraption is level. The whole pair of pipes is level, or plumb rather. So you start by setting up the horizontal pipes so that they are level. And you might have to shim one end or the other depending on how level your floor is. But when the horizontal pipes are level and the vertical pipes are also plumb, then you can be assured that they're meeting each other at 90 degrees. And that's essentially what you want to do. So this quick grip clamp holds the pipes and the level as one unit, and the magnetic clamps hold that unit into position on the main horizontal pipes. And then it's just a matter of tack welding here and here and here and here. Not full welding, because that would overheat the magnetic clamps, but just a tack weld, just enough to hold things in place. And then you take it all down. And actually, in my case, what I did was I tacked them all, and then I removed the wooden jigs and laid the rack down horizontally, and then I just did all the full weldings, first on one side, then the other. It works out quite well that way. So here I am doing some practice welds. I really recommend this. It lets you set up your welder properly and also just get some hand-eye coordination practice. So you can see here there's the magnetic clamp. It's holding this little scrap of pipe in place so I can do some tack welding. And then, as you can see over here, some final welding, just so that by the time I turn to the actual rack, I'm not going to be messing anything up. I should mention, too, that the pipe you see here is galvanized steel. So that means there's a zinc coating on the outside. And you can weld this pipe just fine, but the heat causes the zinc to vaporize off in a kind of a smoke. That smoke's not good for you, so you should do this welding outdoors if you're using galvanized pipe. You don't really have to, because regular black iron pipe, so ungalvanized, rustable pipe, in other words, it can rust, is an option, and it doesn't give off those zinc fumes. I have painted the project, which you do not have to do if it's entirely galvanized, but you certainly do want to do that if it's plain steel. And just to finish up here, you can see a close-up view of the welds. There's good penetration there. The welds are pretty neat, and the whole thing's painted and ready to go with a bike in place.